So, Chris, I got a question for you since we're here
But okay,
together, the two of us.
yeah.
I'm worried about the Hamburglar. So you know the Hamburglar, the
Oh,
McDonald's
yeah.
characters like to steal the
Okay.
hamburger.
Sure,
the
yeah.
hamburgers. Sure.
He's the guy who has a face like a hamburger.
Right. Now think about the Hamburglar. Think about Cookie Monster. These
No,
are
wait.
very similar characters.
Hold on a second.
What?
No, I'm thinking of Mayor McCheese.
Mayor McCheese looks like a mayor but he's made of McCheese. The Hamburglar is like a bandit.
Yeah,
with
but
the
he's a
jail
hamburger
stripes.
man.
He is after the.
His
he's a
sesame seeds
burglar
are lined
of,
up like
of Hamburg-
stripes. Right?
No, he's just no. I think he has a hat maybe, and he has like an oversized face with a domino mask on, and he's wearing like a prison uniform.
And he's a thief.
He steals hamburgers.
He steals ham because his name is Hamburglar. He just takes ham.
No, it's a portmanteau. It's a combination. It's a hamburger and just regular burglar. So they overlap the burg.
So it's
on
not
the
ham
two.
hyphen burglar.
He's not the ham burglar. He's not breaking into Thanksgiving dinners and stealing hams. Which
brought,
and look,
brought to you by
I
McDonald's.
agree.
We're-
I agree that's a good character for maybe you get was it honey baked? Maybe they can have like a whole campaign, but I think it's not germane to the point. The point is, Cookie Monster steals cookies from children and consumes them. Right, we see this on television.
Yeah, he takes a big plate of cookies and just wolfs them down.
Just shoves them in his gullet. What I have never seen happen with the Hamburglar is him consuming the hamburgers. So I'm worried that he's a hoarder.
So you're saying he's not even eating them; he's just taking them.
I think he wants to keep them. And so I was trying to figure out, why is this? Does he have a house full of hamburgers? Wouldn't they rot?
You'd be surprised. Have you ever seen that thing done by? It's a blogger. This is a real thing. She put this is specious in and of itself, but she put a McDonald's cheeseburger in a Tupperware container, and it's been in there for something like 10, 11 years, and it looks just like it would have. I mean, it's a little beat up, but it's not like it turned brown. It's not like it's got
there's nothing
mold all
growing
over it.
on it. This is not anything that's nourishing any sort of bacterium.
No, they're avoiding that.
So if this is true, then I wonder, is this part of the Hamburglar's stratagem? Is he thinking, okay, what food will not spoil? I need a lot of it. Does he know something we don't?
Well, maybe, I mean, you probably would just, I mean, if it's safe for him, whatever his plan may be with that food, because if you ever go to the Hamburglar's house, you'll just go in there and just assume, oh, he's got stacks of hamburgers. That's fine. You're not even going to question it. But
Right.
if you take a close look, you would discover that they're all rock hard.
Some of them are sort of soft around the edges, or the
Right,
meat has hardened into a dehydrated patty, which I'm sure could be rehydrated in the event of any number of disasters that he may be foreseeing, but we, in our ignorance, are just blithely going about our everyday business without stockpiling unspoilable food for.
Yeah, I think it's probably, I mean, maybe he's a structural engineer, and he was worried about his house.
Do you think the hamburgers are load-bearing?
Yeah, I mean,
in his
he can
house?
get a stack of
He
those.
has to steal enough of them such that they can make a pillar, so that the roof will not collapse, because he's got very heavy solar panels. I really think he's into sustainable energy.
I'm not saying that the Hamburglar does not have a problem, but maybe he's more sensible than we think. I don't think he's hoarding. I think what he's doing is he's filling his house with hamburgers and using them as building material because he's got termites. And so what's going to end up happening is the termites will eat his house, and it's just going to disintegrate, but he'll be protected in the inner house of hamburgers.
Okay, so for a while I was thinking you were going to say he wants to fill the house with hamburgers to equalize the pressure. Just like if your car goes off a bridge, you cannot open the door. You have to crack the window and fill the car with water to equalize the pressure, and now you can open the car door and escape.
So because there's termites in his home eating, he has to fill his house with food, and then he
Right.
can leave.
Yeah, exactly, because everything outside of the house is food filled.
Well,
Maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe
he lives in
when
McDonald land.
When the floods come and it rains French fries from the skies, when Ronald McDonald finally offends the burger god, and causes, the Noah's flood to wipe out all the wicked inhabitants of McDonald Land. He's the only one that can go outside. He's got his Ark house.
Right. Oh, I think what we're uncovering is that, regardless of how sick he is, he's really a planner. He's prepared for Armageddon. He's prepared for his house collapsing. He's prepared for recyclable sources of building material.
Yeah.
He's an environmentalist.
He's not out there chopping down trees. He's simply using the hamburger for which they have chopped down trees to graze cattle upon.
Isn't that far, far worse than just using a tree?
Yeah, because it's that chain. It's the supply chain where it's like at every successive step, like 10 times more energy has been consumed to result in the same mass. Yeah. The only way to be worse would be to build your house out of hamburglers, because they have consumed 10 times more energy than the hamburgers.
You'd think that a hamburger house would look really crummy and probably smell weird and not be pleasant. But if you think about all the energy that went into producing each of those hamburgers, that's actually an incredibly decadent house.
Yeah.
That's a rich man's house.
Yeah, forget gold foil. Forget marble harvested from the quarries of Tuscany. It's like, it's like I'm going to build a house out of essentially I'm wasting food. It's the quintessential Western sort of pig-headedness. It says, I'm going to throw away all this food I don't need. I'm going to use it for things other than its caloric content. Or maybe the caloric content is the key. Maybe he's burning these things for fuel. A McDonald's hamburger has 1,000 calories. Maybe that's more than a piece of wood in his stove.
Yeah, and doesn't that make more sense? Like I was about to say, what sense does it make if he's got a fireplace and he's going to burn hamburgers in it when his house is made of hamburgers? But fireplaces burn wood, and houses are made of wood. It's not like we learned that lesson. You'd think we would have done something different.
Yeah, so maybe he's got this elaborate system where he's like a mad genius. He's figured out that in terms of caloric content, like stored energy per, square centimeter, these hamburgers are just the most densely packed for the dollar. It's like he's worked it out that far. Those hamburgers are like 34 cents or something like that at McDonald's. And then he figures, well, like from there it's a slippery slope. Well, what if it's 0 cents? It's even more of a deal.
Yeah. What if he's getting them out of the garbage can? What if he's not buying them? He's trying to show us. He's trying to prove a lesson to us. He's saying, "Do you know how many hamburgers an average child eats during a year?" Yeah, you're right. It's 50 million hamburgers. And look, that's enough hamburgers to make a house out of.
Yeah, this is like, I feel like he's maybe a college professor, and it's like first it's sustainable living, and then he's a freegan. He's rooting through the trash, and then from there it's like. He ennobles his mission, where it's like, I don't think that kid needs that hamburger. It's just going to go around his belly. I'm going to take it from him to be the responsible adult, that his parent is not being. And then from there, it's just, I'm going to sneak into McDonald's at night and steal the whole store to save the town from its menace. And then from there, it's just, I'm going to wear a domino mask and hold up kids at gunpoint.
Well, he's got to make it fun for himself.
Yeah, he's got to keep the challenges coming.
Yeah. Have you ever heard that logic puzzle of the chessboard with the pennies on it?
I don't think. What?
You take the chessboard has 64 squares on it, so you put 1 penny on the first square, 2 pennies on the second square, 4 pennies. You double each time going down the line. And you challenge somebody to actually do this. And the idea being that by the time you reach the 64th square, the number of pennies, or like the mass of the pennies, is actually like the size of the moon. And so I think he's just trying to do that puzzle with hamburgers. Somebody presented it to him, and he's like, I don't believe it.
So he's obsessive compulsive. He has to get 128 hamburgers just to fill the next square, and then forget the next one's going to take twice as long.
Right. So he's up at 4096 or one of those numbers. What is it? 65, 5, 35. That's what he's got. He's working his way up because he won't be proven wrong. Because he's a man of principle. And he carries through.
He finishes what he started. If nothing else, he finishes what he started.